Everybody good?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. All right, we're on and we're recording. Morning. Welcome to the May 6th Lebanon County Commissioners meeting. This May 7th. Geez, yeah, May 7th Commissioners meeting. Thank you. This meeting is being recorded and will become part of record. Anybody who would like to ask a question or make a comment, please use the raise your hand function. If you are presenting at this meeting, when it's your turn on the agenda, I will bring you in as an attendee. Please remember to unmute your microphone and turn on your video at that time. Mr. Chairman, I will turn it over to you.
Okay, good morning. Welcome to our meeting this morning for the Board of Commissioners. And we will begin as customary with the observance of silence. And please keep in mind that this is Nurses Week and give them a special thought as we observe our beginning of our meeting. Thank you. And please rise for the pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We don't do well without seeing each other.
That's correct. Yes, I don't want to get too used to this way.
No.
We now, before we adopt our minutes, I'd like to ask if there's any public comment.
Nobody's raised their hand.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to the approval of the minutes of our April 16th meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any deletions or additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Do we have Sally yet, or should we go to Michelle? I guess we should go to Michelle for our HR report.
Under personnel transactions, we have Kelly Jo Young, full-time correctional officer, resignation effective April 26th. William Bell, full-time correctional officer, removal effective April 20th. Denise Houlihan, DJ office manager, resignation effective April 30th. Sherry Fiore, general clerk C, retirement effective May 2nd. And Destiny Torres, full-time developmental assistant, job abandonment effective April 29th.
I move to approve the resignations and terminations.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve those transactions. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Under leaves of absence, I just have a return, so there's no motion needed, and that is for Tara Fankovic from Domestic Relations, returning from an unpaid leave of absence effective April 27th. Under changes of status, transfers, and promotions, I have two motions. The first is to approve entering into a collective bargaining agreement with Teamsters Local 429 involving the Lebanon County court-related non-professionals, represented employees in the District Attorney's Office, Pathonetary Clerk of Court's Office, Public Defender's Office, Register of Wills, and the Sheriff's Office for the term of January 1, 2020 through December 31, 2023. Highlights of the collective bargaining agreement include a 4-year term, wage increases at 3.75 for 2020, 3.5 for 2021 and 2022, and 3.25 for 2023. Increased on-call compensation to $325 per week, changes to the calculation of vacation time and increased accruals, as well as increases in medical insurance deductibles and other non-economic revisions in several articles.
I'll make a motion that we approve the bargaining agreement as negotiated and agreed to.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve that agreement with the Teamsters Local 429. And any comment, anyone have anything to offer there? Michelle, anything additional?
Not for that.
All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you.
I have another motion to approve Chief Clerk of Voter Registration Michael Anderson's revised request to have the current voter registration employees work an additional 2.5 hours per week, not to exceed 40 hours per week. The prior dates which were approved were March 9th through May 8th, and this is being revised with the effective dates of April 5th through June 12th due to the COVID situation.
I'll make a motion to approve Michael Anderson's request.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to approve that request of Mr. Anderson. Any additional comment or question? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved.
Kathy Wengert, transfer from law clerk in the courts department to part-time assistant district attorney in the district attorney's office at the rate of $1,538.46 biweekly, effective June 29th.
I'll make a motion to approve that transfer to the district attorney's office.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve that request. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. So moved.
Under other transactions, Children and Youth would like to hire Guinevere Garlow as a caseworker 2 at the rate of $1,286.92 biweekly, effective May 11th. And President Judge Tilwalk would like to hire Marissa E. Templeton in the Probation Services Department as a juvenile probation officer at the rate of $1,628.86 biweekly, effective May 11th.
I'll make a motion for those two transactions.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Approved. Thank you.
Moving on to salary board, motion to approve all the transactions previously read plus the following. I have 3 incremental increase corrections for Daniel Daunton, Timothy Heckman, and Linda Miller, all full-time correctional officers at the prison. All are moving to the rate of $17.14, all effective May 3rd.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve those salary board requests. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. So moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
I believe we have Sally with us now.
Excellent. All right, Sally. Good morning.
Okay,
Morning,
we had
Sally.
received, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Hi, Sally. She has an echo.
Yeah.
Okay, we had receipts on May 6th and 7th. Of
Turn your radio down.
$1,639,000.
Could you repeat
Somebody
that?
cut me off now. I lost everything on my computer and I didn't touch it. Okay, but we had receipts of $1,639,819.44. And that brought us to a total cash of $11,280,540.78. We had expenditures of $1,595,331. The tax claim is $51,274.87. And the balance is $9,633,934.91. I really don't know if you're still hearing me.
Yes,
Yes.
we are.
Oh, okay. So that's our balance as of right now. What I'm planning on doing, though, is moving $2,810,000 back to our reserve money, which we had used earlier in the year. And of course, with taxes being posted, I will put the debt service money away next. So I tried to move some of that money from home, but it doesn't work because I don't have the same token that I usually use at work. So I'll have to get them to do that at the office. So any questions?
Yes,
Yeah,
I have one.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Oh,
Go
thank
ahead.
you. I was wondering if you move that 2.8 million to back to our reserve fund, does that bring us up to the full amount? I don't see a copy of that. We usually get a copy of that.
Yeah, that will bring us back up to what, that 7 million and something that we have had in that. I
Yeah.
haven't been able to get, it's kind of hard for me working from home to make sure I have everything on those papers correctly. So I did not update that, but I will in the future.
Okay. But you think that'll bring us to full complement then?
Yes, it will.
Yeah,
That's
Okay.
what I used this year, the beginning of the year. That's the amount that I used out of that reserve fund.
right.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sally and I talked about that a week ago, I think. That's we typically, governments will use, local governments might use a TRAN or some other in the first 3 months prior to receipt of taxes to cover expenses. And as you know, we've been able to borrow from ourselves and just transfer some of the reserve over in those first 3 months and then restore it again. And that's exactly what's happening. So that exact number is what Sally needed to lean on for the first 3 months. So yep, back to whole.
Okay. My question, looking at that balance, Sally, are we current with all the payables?
Of what we have had that we got from the controller's office, yes, whatever we've gotten from the controller's office is covered. Now, I have no idea exactly how they're handling all their payables, in the controller's office, but what
Bob's
we have
on, so he might
received,
know.
it's paid.
We're processing them all as they come in bi-weekly, same as before.
Okay.
Okay, then we
Very
should be
good, very
caught up.
good. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
initially,
thank you.
again, if I could just to add to that, initially, at the very beginning of this COVID-19, we were processing payables to our social service provider agencies because they're obviously keeping open 24 hours and have their own expenses. But once we got a week or two into it, then the controller's office was able to pick up the routine. And yes, so far as I know, everything that's being submitted, as Bob said, has been paid. And what Sally has remaining there, and she said she's going to set aside the debt service, and then beyond that, we'll begin to carve out the various set-asides for payroll, going for the rest of the year. So we're really sort of maintaining the usual right now in terms of cash management.
In that case, I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving the treasurer's report as presented, please indicate.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. All right, Sally, thank you.
Okay, I have to see if I can get my computer back on, so I will talk to you guys maybe later. Bye.
All right.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, give me just a minute to.
Okay, there's Nicole Eisenhart from the District Attorney's Office.
Hello, I am presenting grant modifications as well as the new VOCA grant, which needs to be submitted later this month. I will start with the modification requests. I am submitting modifications for all three grants. RASA, VOJO are in one combined application and VOCA is separate. This is a modification to separate out some funds that were budgeted for miscellaneous supplies from all three grants to purchase chairs to replace some chairs in our victim witness meeting areas. The total estimated cost for these chairs would be $1,100. 40% would be paid from VOCA and RASA, and 20% would be paid from VOJO. So the total for all three would be $1,100, $440 each from VOCA and RASA, and $220 from VOJO. And again, these are just monies that have been moved from miscellaneous supplies to a specific category for the chairs. Any
So it's
questions?
not costing the general fund any more money according to your memo.
Correct.
Okay, seek a motion.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept those modifications as presented.
And I'll second the motion.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? And all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. All right, Nicole, next.
The new VOCA grant covers the term from October 1st of this year until the end of September in 2023. The yearly amount that we have been allotted is $123,493 per year, and then the total would be $370,479. So the bulk of that, as always, goes to personnel and benefits. For each of our advocates, the memo that I submitted talks about the amount of hours per week. For all 3 years, Beth Hope will be 20 hours per week. Kathy Burke will be 20 hours per week. Kathy Smith will be 5 hours per week. And Jess Lutz will be 10 hours the first year, 7.5 hours the second year, and 5 years the third year. Their benefits are covered for Beth and Kathy at 50% all 3 years. Kathy Smith will be 14% all 3 years, and Jess Lutz will go from 20%, 20%, and then 10%, I believe, the third year. And this basically might fluctuate because we have to estimate an increase in benefits every year. And then if that increase doesn't materialize or is less than my estimation, we can use those funds to cover more hours or cover more benefits. We just have to build in the potential increase because it's better to have money that we can reallocate than to come up short. And then there's fees for training, which are required by each grant, miscellaneous supplies, and the like. Any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the 3-year grant with a total of $370,479.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the new VOCA grant. Any questions or comment beyond that? Hearing none, all in favor? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, mine is just for after the approval.
Okay. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved. Back to Nicole.
Jamie, I sent to him the signature pages, so I don't know how we're getting stuff signed in this period. I just need the signature sheets back with everyone's signature, including Dave Warner's, prior to the grants being submitted. So the sooner I can get that back, the sooner I can get this stuff actually submitted and being processed.
I forwarded them on to Dawn in our office. So Dawn, I think, can print them out. I think she's actually watching the meeting here as it is, but can print those out and we can get them signed that way, Nicole. So we'll, once we get through that, I'm not sure, we may have to get it over to Dave Warner, but we'll work that out. We'll just get them to you from what you sent us.
Great, thank you so much.
All right, Nicole, thank you.
Thank you, Nicole.
Good day.
Aye.
Bye.
All right, Jamie.
Just a minute to bring in Mike Anderson.
Yeah, we're ready for that. And in this case, we'll go to election board. I think there's one action item he's asking for on.
Okay.
There we go. Clicked on the wrong person initially.
Hello, Michael Anderson,
Michael.
Chief Clerk Voter Registration.
Morning, Michael. You may proceed.
Okay, so my first request is to move some training money that we had allocated for training for the primary election. We did not have the training due to COVID-19 and the shutting down of the county building. So what I would like to do is move some of that money to pay for the individuals working on election day, $20 for the judge of elections and election day workers, an extra $10 for poll workers. Reason for that is because we are going to be requesting that they read all of the training documents that we have either emailed them or mailed them directly before election day, and then also as a appreciation of the fact that we will be working during this time. So I do have that request and ask that you do approve that for the pay, and it would be a one-time only for this primary election only. basically moving that money from training to election day pay.
And that's it, an election board action, Jamie?
Yes, election board would establish that, and county commissioners are then compelled to fund it.
Okay. Well, then I'll call the election, the Board of Elections to order. And do I have a motion to approve Michael's request?
Go ahead, Joel.
Second the motion.
All right. I have a motion and a second. I guess I have a motion and a second.
Yeah, I'll officially move it. Okay.
To approve the request that Michael has made for the additional payment, actually moving money. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, Michael. Thank you. What else?
Okay, thank you. So I also wanted to just give you a little update on the election. So as you know, we have been reaching out to our poll workers and our polling locations. And I just wanted to give you a little update on where we stand with that. We are in need of poll workers. So one of the things I would like to do is just put it out there, some locations that we definitely need some help. That is in the city of Lebanon and Swatara Township and Anvil Township. Those are the three where areas we definitely need some workers and some help. But we do have some availability throughout the county, but I just wanted to emphasize those three locations. You know, if anyone's interested, to please contact us. They can email me directly, m.anderson@lebcnty.org, or our office, 717-228-4428. We are here Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30, being essential workers that we are now. And so anybody interested, they can call us for details on that. Also, just want to let you know that we're coming along as far as polling locations. Unfortunately, I believe I just got my second no right before this meeting. I am going to call that place back and see what I can do there. Yesterday was Stone Ridge. Have a plan in place to possibly move that. I'm going to contact the Elko School District about possibly using one of the buildings up near the high school. The other one today was Cornwall South. Commissioner Phillips, your polling location, I believe. So we're going to work on what's going on there. But for the most part, that has gone well. Most places are very good. Just a lot of questions just about what we're doing, things like that. But overall, so far, so good there. My plan does need to be to the state by May 13th, which is next Wednesday. I obviously will update you as I know. The biggest thing is a lot of these places, polling places, are closed. So just trying to get a hold of someone to confirm that we can use them has been the biggest obstacle. Continuing to encourage people to vote by mail to lessen the impact at the polling location. We are fastly approaching 9,000 applications. We will surpass that today. And the turnaround time has been about a day, possibly two at the most, to get those ballots out the door. We are at this point in really good shape as far as being caught up. We were pretty much all the way caught up coming into this week. The last couple of days, there's been a lot of batches online, but we will handle those. But at this point, everything coming in, I think, has been handled and processed pretty fast for the sheer amount that we're dealing with at this point.
Bill, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Michael, would you mind acknowledging the folks from other departments that have stepped up to help you during this time? I think that's a pretty neat thing that people in other departments have seen your need and have jumped in there to help.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. So first, Dawn from the controller's office. She has not controller, commissioner. Sorry. She's been great. Jamie has allowed us to use her doing a variety of things. The assessment office, Dan Seaman and his staff. He has sent me somebody every day this week. So very much appreciate that. Judge Klein's secretary, Tammy, she has offered to help. I've heard from someone in Dawn Blauk's office that's possibly going to be free to come up to help us. So I'm hoping I'm not missing anybody. Bob, Bob Dowd, your department has been wonderful. Bob and I discussed yesterday just getting supplies for precincts, and he had them delivered the next day. Commissioner Litz, her and her helpers with masks, she has delivered a bunch of those to us this morning that we'll be able to have available at the polling precincts for voters that come that end up not having one, that might want to put one on for us. And that'll be something we'll talk about, asking voters when they do vote on election day to wear a mask. All poll workers will be wearing masks, and obviously their mask protects the voters, and the voters wearing masks will protect my poll workers. So that's something we'll talk about, as far as the press release in the future. But everybody that's helped, greatly appreciated, because as you know, the work has been a lot.
Thank you, Mike.
Mr. Chairman, we do have a raised hand.
Okay, we'll take the question.
Who's it from?
It's from Laura LeBeau.
Okay.
Is she there, Bob?
I don't see her.
Yeah, I'm working on bringing her
I
in.
think you'll just hear her.
Yeah.
Oh, there she is. Okay.
This is actually her news time now. I don't know.
Was it up for a while?
It has been. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she may not be able to chime
May
in.
not be able to take it now.
Well, can I just maybe expand on a couple of things, and when Laura comes in, she can just jump in?
Sure.
Two things, Michael. You had mentioned about the precincts and polling places. I think you're right now, you have two. You mentioned that you're seeking alternate locations, but assuming those are resolved and you find another place for I know the one is Jackson East and the other, well, I guess you'll let us know. It's probably a Palmyra, but that means you're not intending to really consolidate, even though the Department of State and the Act is allowing for that, and some counties are planning to do that. At this point, your goal was to keep as many, if not all, open, and it sounds like you're on track to do that.
He's muted.
Yep, he's getting there.
How about
There we
now? Okay. Thank you. That's a very good question, Jamie. Yeah, so it's North Cornwall South that we're working on. That note came in while I was on this, so I'm hoping we can work that out. But
Okay.
you are correct. The goal is to have all 60 precincts open. Obviously, Jackson East is going to move to a different location, and if we have any others, the goal will be to move them and not consolidate. The state allows us to consolidate precincts. However, there is restrictions that I feel that, if we have to go that route, we will. But with consolidation, you have to keep everything separate. And by keeping everything separate means that you're bringing more people into one location, and then you're having to somehow explain to them which way to go or where to go. I think it kind of counterproductive of social distancing if you're bringing more people to one location when we're encouraging people to vote by mail to try to keep the number of people at a precinct to a minimum. So yes, we're working to try to have all 60. We'll have that plan definitely in place by the 13th, unless we have some last second changes. But we're really close to having it all complete. Like I said, just trying to get the last couple just to confirm. And then there's some questions out there. Jamie and I, you and I'll probably have to talk, but of just, some questions that polling locations have about what we can do and what we're doing, things like that.
Okay, I see Laura's here, so you won't. I have another comment, but why don't we just go there? That's all right, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Laura LeBeau, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, this is Bill Ames, and I'm chairman of the Board of Elections, so we're welcoming your questions.
Thank you. I apologize. I was on my laptop and then I lost connection, and now I'm on my cell phone. And if Michael already answered this, I apologize, but I was missing for a moment. The question is, did you mention, Michael, how many mail-in ballots we have received thus far in Lebanon County?
Yeah, we are at just about 9,000 entering today, Laura. And there are batches out there to process. So we'll be well over that after today's processing.
And my other question was, in terms of PPE at the polling places for the individuals that wish to vote in person, I assume the poll workers will at the very least probably be wearing masks, but what will the requirement, if any, be for the voters in terms of wearing a mask or anything like that?
We will be requesting all voters that come to the precincts to wear masks. However, Laura, we will not take away somebody's right to vote if they're not wearing one. So it is, at this point, a legal issue, but I believe we'll just leave it as it'll be a request and ask them to do that. Commissioner Litz, I think you might have missed this part, has, with the ladies that are helping her, will be supplying us with roughly about 10 masks at each location, that if somebody forgets theirs, they'll be able to pick one up there. But all of our poll workers will be wearing masks. They will have the protective equipment. Bob has helped us greatly with that and very much appreciated, along with the department that's sending precinct kits to us. So we are working diligently to make sure that our poll workers are safe, and that we do ask that the voters wear them, because the mask that the poll workers will wear protect the voter, and if the voters would wear a mask, that would protect our poll workers.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions, Bob?
Let me just, Laura actually touched on the second thing I was going to mention, and that was the PPE. And I know that not only did he mention about emergency services helping out with that, but that has been a question of some of the poll workers. They're trying to decide whether or not they'll participate on election day. Is, will I have PPE? The state has promised a level of supply, which I guess is to be delivered mid-May sometime. But in the meantime, as Michael mentioned, DES really stepped up and was able to already designate and set aside an amount for the poll workers. So right now we have in hand the PPE for all of the poll workers. And that's just, if that makes a difference to anyone who's deciding whether or not to work, that's important.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Michael?
I don't believe so. Just thank you for support. Appreciate it. If you know anybody that wants to be a poll worker, have them call us. Honestly, it's going better than I thought it was going to at this point. We have had some calls on an ad I placed, and so far so good. Staff is doing an excellent job. I do want to thank my staff. They've been outstanding, taking things home, working here. But so far so good. Thank you.
Well, thank you and all your staff. And with that said, do I have a motion to adjourn the Board of Elections?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All right. We are adjourned. Back to you, Bob.
All right. Thank you, Bill. And now we'll proceed with the next part of our agenda, which was Susan Everly, and we may have her on deck.
Give me just a minute. Susan, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I'll put my speaker up a little bit more. Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Susan.
Okay, one second here. All right, our wheels start spinning. Good morning, everyone. I just want to thank you for allowing me to be part of today's meeting. You know, a lot has transpired in our county over the past several weeks, you know, and I think so many people are feeling that this is so surreal and a bad dream that they're ready to wake up from. But I think the reality is that it's going to be a long haul for all of us. In other disaster patterns, we kind of see the floodwaters recede or the winds stop, but in this situation, there's so many unknowns. But through it all, it's been amazing to see the resilience of our community, especially watching the three commissioners. I mean, you have been an inspiration. Your hard work, your support, and your love for your community. I mean, that's been evident in so many things that you have done over the past several weeks. So I thank you all three for that and just really appreciate you. And I also thank you for the offer of taking the LVEDC initiated task force under your wings. We have a wonderful group of team leaders that we selected. We met this week. I wanted to confirm that their willingness and their ability to move forward. So the team leaders will be, that we have selected thus far, will be Bob Dodd, who's on here today. So thank you, Bob. Jennifer Easter with WellSpan, Brooke Smith from the United Way, Karen Grove from the Chamber, Geoffrey Roach, he's a resident of Palmyra. He's on the Palmyra School Board. He worked for Lebanon Valley College, and he's really strategic and analytical. So he's getting assigned to the measurement and analysis task.
Susan, I think Jeffrey moved to Harrisburg University of Science and Technology.
Yeah, he's there now. Yeah. But they have the capability of analyzing and measuring all the data and statistic information that we want to track from the beginning to the hall to make sure that we're progressing along the way.
He's a school board member in Anvil, Cleona, not Palmyra.
Oh, Anvil, yeah. I always want to put him in Palmyra. Okay, so I just think that so many of our leaders have been doing the best they can under these circumstances to be prepared and to prepare others as much as possible, not only for the health concerns, but the concerns for the business community and the community at large.
Excuse me, Susan. Did you want to mention Brooke?
Brooke Smith. I'm sorry, Brooke Smith from the United Way. Thank you, Bob. I'm trying to keep my notes over here so they're not in my face. But
sorry.
So the task force will be a unified approach by leadership to continue the support to the county residents and businesses. And when we met this week, we're going to be egalitarian team leaders. We're going to all be continuing what we've been doing, and we're going to work together as a unified front. One of the tasks, Bob, and do you have the spreadsheet in front of you with the team structure?
Yes.
Okay, you all have that in front of you. So Bob and Jen will be doing the public health mitigation, Brooke, human and social services. I'll be following along through with the business. Karen is also going to be doing the new business normal, and Jeffrey will be doing the analysis and measurements. And then we'll all be working on the communication piece, which is one of the most important pieces that we all will be adding into so that we can do a comprehensive strategy to maximize the awareness in the community. And we're all starting this week with the implementation, putting our tasks down. We'll be selecting subcommittees to work underneath each team leader. And then our goal will be to set key targets to move forward. We'd like to design a web page, just a simple web page where everyone can be directed to simple. I mean, there's so much data that's just overwhelming everyone. So if we can have a simple web page that we can publicize and have people come and look on that, and it can links back to each of our organizations, but I just think that's something that could be a good asset as well. One of the first steps, Bob and Jen are putting together some flow charts. There's so much information out there on protocols and procedures, but just a simple flow chart. Am I expressing that right, Bob? Would you call it a flow chart, or what would you call that?
Simplifying the rules and regulations.
Good, thank you. Other agencies are interviewing businesses and surveying businesses to assess their needs. And then all those results will be tallied and analyzed. There have been surveys going out, but we're just not communicating to get all those results. So now we'll be communicating and bringing those results and analyzing them. So we've been busy working with our Workforce Alliance and with other agencies to get funding on the street. We were able to put $1.7 million worth of funding applications up to the state in 4 days. So that was kind of an overload. I had 18 applications I was able to process before they closed the door, and we're just about through. We have most of them funded through the state, which is really good news for Lebanon County. And they have a website, the state has a website where you can go and look at the companies and how much they put out so far. So the appointee list, I believe, is in front of you. And that I would be asking for you to nominate or vote on that today, the list that was presented to you.
I have a question, Susan.
Do we want to seek the motion first, and then we'll take questions and discussion? Is there a motion?
My question, I think, needs answered before I would make a motion.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I was wondering, I think would consider hosting this if we had, as we had asked to appoint the people, and we also gave suggestions individually as to others that should be included. For instance, I asked that the military, who is our largest employer in Lebanon County, be included, and I see nothing here about them because we have the VA Medical Center, we have Fort Indiantown Gap, the National Cemetery, the Armory. I mean, military is big in our county.
Absolutely, Joellen. And the only reason they're not on the list today is I tried to make contact and I have not reached my point of contact yet. So when I'm hoping by next meeting, we can add them to the list. I just didn't want to, and if you're comfortable with adding them to the list without me without having that conversation with them first, I welcome that. We can gladly appoint them to our list today. I just didn't put it on because I was not able to have that conversation with them.
And who is your point of contact?
I don't have my notes here, but it's, is it Jamie? I was talking to you about him last evening.
Colonel Weissnick.
David. He's not hard to get hold of.
Well, I'm definitely going to try, and I definitely want him on the list. I agree with you that they'll be an asset to it. So if you're comfortable putting them on today without us speaking to them, we can gladly do that. I would imagine they're going to say they'd be part of it.
Chairman, may I ask a question?
Certainly, Bill.
Yeah. Susan, the list that we're approving, is that just the folks on your chart here, or are you talking about all the folks that received the email?
No, the list that you're approving is the team leaders for the initiative. And then there'll be subcommittees under each team leader.
Yeah.
And I don't think we need to vote on the subcommittees. I think they can just fall under the team leaders.
I'm not comfortable, making this motion. We, as was indicated by committee, we made some suggestions at the meeting that we had, your kickoff meeting, and I just feel that I personally feel that you should have the autonomy and the independence to go forward with this on your own. I don't think we need to oversee it or micromanage it. So I'm comfortable just leaving you and the EDC move forward with this.
Whatever you decide.
Okay, so is that where we are? Is there an interest in making a motion to adopt this program that Susan has put forward, or do we want to follow Bill's as our liaison, follow his guide?
I'd be interested in being a part of it to some degree, but I'd like to see the full list to make sure we're all inclusive before we would move forward.
So is that a note to the motion today?
For today, yes. I wouldn't say I wouldn't revisit it. I would if I could see the whole list.
All right, Susan, I'm not sure if you're clear. I guess my question is, are we going to follow Bill's guidance and turn the autonomy back to Susan's group, and Joellen, if you'd like to be considered as part of this group, maybe you can speak with Susan about that, as being part of that, if that will you're trying to accomplish, so you'll have input. I'm not sure where this leaves us if we're not doing a motion and we're turning back to Susan for her own autonomy. So.
Yeah, Joellen, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. And you can gladly be part of it. And then if you decide, or anyone decides moving forward that they want to give up their blessing, we'll go back to that agenda.
I don't think it's that don't want to give it, obviously. That would not be something that I would want to say, I don't want to give this our blessing. I think you have a good start, and I want to compliment you on being aggressive and moving forward with this. But I personally think that, I made a special request that the chairmanship be shared between you and Karen Grow, and that was disregarded. And I just think that rather than, I think to leave you to your own decision making would be far better. And I don't think with this, the way it's played out now, we'd be better off to have you just move forward with this. And I'd gladly give it my blessing. I think you're off to a good start, and hopefully everything will work out, and you'll be able to serve the businesses and the residents of the county in a favorable way.
Well, thank you.
I see where Karen Grow says, is this not voted on by the commissioners? Does that mean that funding assistance may not be available through the commissioners? What funding assistance?
Yeah, I didn't know anything about funding.
You have a raised hand as well.
We talked in our meeting, if we need a budget, what that budget would look like, and would we go to the commissioners to ask for any funding, or how would we pursue with that?
What kind of numbers are you talking?
We were looking, we didn't have a budget. The team leaders were coming back to us this next week, next Tuesday, to say, okay, what do we see that we need? We were thinking some maybe for PR and some administrative in case we need to print anything, or, but we do not have a number on that.
Well, that should all be part of the proposal, I think, so we know what we're voting on.
Right. So for now, we'll move forward with Bill's suggestion, and we'll be in touch if we need any further assistance.
Okay. Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a raised hand. Excuse me.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Pam Turcamo. I just had one question. Is the task force being established just to offer guidance and procedures for businesses, or will that include a lot of our recreational organizations and information and guidance for them?
Are you addressing that to me, Pam?
Oh, anybody who wants to answer it, I'm good.
Yes, we're hoping this plan is all inclusive, because to have a economic recovery, it's going to have to touch so many people's lives, and recreation, tourism. I mean, the whole gamut that's involved with economic development. We all need to work together and have a unified front. And so, yes, to answer your question, definitely they'll be part of it.
Okay, great. I didn't really hear any names of anybody from, like Jennifer from the Tourist Bureau or any. I was just curious. Thank you.
Yeah, Pam, she was on the first initiated call. Jen was on it, and she is definitely going to be part of the subcommittee. We just can't have the leadership team so wide, it's just, but it's no putting anybody out, not including anybody. They're all going to be part of this. It has to be all of us together, unified, in order to make this recovery work.
Oh, sure, I understand. I just didn't hear anyone mentioned that was specifically tied in with any of the recreational organizations. I just wanted to make sure. Thanks.
Thank you, Pam. You're welcome.
Okay. Are we on to our next item? Jamie, do you have any housekeeping items, or do you want to go to the resolution question that Bill has presented?
That's up to you. I was going to give a few just updates maybe on the jail and some of the departments that are, that have ramped up a little bit here, but it's your choice. You want me to do that or Bill's discussion?
Well, are we going to address at all a discussion on reopening the building as well, or are we doing that in a different session?
I think we can talk about that now if that's something that you want to discuss, because some work has been done in that area, so
right.
we can have an update on that. So Jamie, why don't you give us your update, and then we'll take on Bill's resolution question.
Okay, I just wanted to, first of all, the things that Michael Anderson mentioned about the polling places or the precincts that are needing help, and he identified some of those individually. Being a little opportunistic, we do have a number of the local media here attending the meeting and observing. So if there's any help that can be had to get that word out, and possibly some people who might be interested to reach out to voter and offer their interest. So, but beyond that, I want to just update on the jail. We have 12 cases at the jail. There was an additional case that is positive since the story in the Daily News a day or two ago. We have 9 inmates and 3 medical staff at this point who have tested positive. There's the medical staff is, I think it's a little over a week now. So the anticipation, and some of the inmates, so they're all still in the facility. They've been quarantined. None have been taken outside for medical treatment. Their symptoms are not severe at this point, so they're able to manage in the facility. Medical staff is expected to be back on the job possibly the end of next week, and as the inmates who are positive, they will be retested, and once their symptoms and a negative test comes back, then they will be reintegrated at some point. But so 12 cases, 9 inmates, and 3 medical staff. As far as departments go, I just want to mention that the planning department has begun a level of service, increasing level of service since the construction industry has gone back as of Friday, May 1st. They are providing building code inspections, zoning permits, that sort of thing. They're rotating staff in and out of the office, doing it in sometimes half-day or alternate day shifts. So that's happening for those who are interested and who may not have gotten that communication directly from the building industry. And I guess just to add, I think on the sheriff's Facebook page, he put out that he's beginning to accept applications or process applications for new concealed carry permits. I emphasize new, because anyone who has a concealed carry permit whose expiring has been extended to May 30th. So it's an expired permit. That's okay. That has been acknowledged and extended. These are new applications for people who say may have purchased a handgun in the last month or two, and without a concealed carry permit is not able to legally transport that in a vehicle, as the sheriff pointed out. He is willing to entertain those applications. He is doing it by appointment only. So if anyone is interested in doing that, they may contact the sheriff's office to make an appointment. He's only doing so many of those per day, and all of the social distancing and precautions being observed. So other than that, Michael touched a little on how his department's functioning and utilizing some other department staff. I think it's fair to say that our departments in all cases are meeting the needs that are being asked of them. They each have a level of communication from the employees that are either rotating or they're working remotely to get their tasks finished. And I think that's all going well for now.
And the treasurer's office is processing all the payments.
Yep. They're also working each day to get those processed. Sally touched on that as well. Thank you.
Yeah,
Mr. Chairman, go ahead.
No, I just wanted, since Commissioner Litz brought up the treasurer's office, I think they should try to put in place a way of answering their phones for people that are inquiring. We understand and we try to convey that they are working with a skeletal crew, but still there are questions about texts that aren't being processed. And to have someone somewhere, there should be a way of technology accommodating that so that those phone calls aren't going to other departments and then going unanswered. So if that's something that could be worked on, I'd appreciate that.
Well, with keeping in mind the reports that we've had and all of us as commissioners in touch with the folks that work in the building, I think we should start to take a look at returning to work in an expanded way. And I think the last time we talked to Bob Dowd to ask him to put together some information about safety measures and so on. And I don't know whether you've had a chance to work on that, Bob, or not.
We're waiting for some more guidance come down from the state on what the new phases are going to look like. First one starts tomorrow, so we'll have a real good idea of how it's going to look right after that.
Go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry.
I've asked the departments to put together a department by department plan on how they would propose they ramp up their efforts depending on how we go back, whether it's a percentage going back or just some level of ramp up. So I have gotten a number of departments giving me a plan like that. So
I think somebody's trying to send a telegram, but okay.
Well, I'm thinking that, and this is just me thinking that probably as we open, and we have another meeting in 2 weeks, and I think we should try to it'll also give us an opportunity to see how things are working out in the areas that moved into yellow, and hopefully we'll get closer or do something to have us move in Lebanon County into that step as well. But I think we should take a look at maybe beginning with reduced. We already have people working in reduced numbers in a lot of the departments. And as Jamie said, we're meeting the needs of the residents, but I think we need to start to gradually ramp up and make sure that we take all the safety precautions. We're not going to stay undercover for forever. So I would just suggest that over the next 2 weeks, we take a look at that and be able to revisit it at our next regular meeting.
Okay. Yeah, that would be at least in 2 weeks, even sooner if we could. I know there's some departments that possibly could follow the model that the sheriff has, started or will start on
Interview, yeah.
just by appointment.
appointment. Mhm.
And so that there's, safety being extended through those departments. But I think that there's a need for that for the business community to keep their businesses moving through our system. We're accommodating a lot of people, but I think we need to go to that next level as long as it's safely implemented.
Okay, I think so as well. Thank you. I have one other thing that's kind of a pleasant thing, if I may, Chairman.
Yeah, if it's pleasant, sure.
It's pleasant, I promise. Actually, Larry Bowman called me the other day and said he wanted to stop by my house, and we socially distanced and talked a little bit. He gave me a progress report on the Feeding the Frontliners program, and they had these masks made that I just held up. He said, I'm supposed to assure you that none of the funds that we provided, that the commissioners provided for feeding the staff, was put into he said they had a designer that was willing to do this gratis, and they raised the money themselves to have those masks printed. So all the folks that are delivering those meals will be wearing those masks. And he also gave me one for each of us. So when I get into the office to sign papers, I'll put them in your offices. So I just wanted to give that update. I think they're moving along with that. And I guess the last thing that the frontliners are is hungry. It's evidently there's been a lot of efforts, and I think that gratefully and thankfully so, to keep those folks in meals. So this is another effort, of course, that's being done. So just wanted to thank Larry and Kim Kreider-Umbel and Brooke Smith again for to bring that program forward, and they have lots of volunteers, I understand. So I'll be anxious to hear the next report. Thank you for that.
And really the bonus to that, in addition to the gesture of thanking the frontliners and feeding them, is of course supporting the businesses that have been suffering through this.
Right.
And it's really a nice shot in the arm for them. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Is there a list of the businesses that we're supporting?
I can't, I'm sure they'll have a list.
I just thought we could give them a little advertising.
Yeah, I will reach out to Larry and ask if he can make that available to us.
That'd be great.
All right, Jamie, anything else on your checklist?
No, I actually don't have anything to present for action. I think practically, since there have been so many deadlines pushed back and so on through this, the only thing we had was Nicole Eisenhardt's grant paperwork to get through. So I don't have anything to present to you now.
The resolution that Hempfield Township did in Lancaster County, I forwarded that to you folks, and I would like, if we need to put it in the form of a motion today, the motion today would be to have Jamie at least draw up a resolution that would fit for Lebanon County to have Lebanon County reopen. So I would make the motion to ask the county administrator to take this sample and put it in the version of a resolution that would express the concern of the county commissioners in opening up Lebanon County.
I'm not ready to move ahead with that at this point. As duly elected officials, it's our job to keep the public safe. And there's a matrix out there. It goes red, yellow, green. We're not in that. And we have to have less than 50 cases in 14 days. I've been
70 cases.
I've been tracking the positive cases, and since April 23rd, which was 14 days ago, there were 544 cases, and today there's 700, or yesterday, 774 cases. So in 14 days, that's 230 cases. So we're nowhere near ready to adopt anything to open everything back up. We have too many cases.
According to the rules that have been, just arbitrarily established. When Dr. Levine was asked to justify that, she indicated that it was just a number that they selected, and that was, what they thought was correct, but it's not scientifically done.
And I'm not a data scientist either, but I guess my question is, Bill, have you conferred with the VA or WellSpan as far as their readiness to accept reopening the county?
No, I have not.
I mean, I think that's a piece of this thing that is very important that we consider. Are we going to overburden if this thing goes the wrong way? Because we're not sure about the data. And I'm certainly willing to support something, but I would like to have at least the buy-in of the healthcare providers in our county. And also, I'm wondering, maybe Dave can answer this. What is the legal weight of this thing? What does it actually accomplish if we were to adopt it?
I don't think we know that yet. I mean, the governor's powers and abilities so far have been effectively at least condoned by the courts and not overturned in any meaningful way whatsoever. So thus far, the legal precedence, if we can establish it, seems to be that the governor has the authority to do the things he's doing. However, the counties, I believe I understand there's maybe 4 counties in Western Pennsylvania who are taking a similar action as well, or maybe have taken so already. So I think it's likely before our next meeting, we're probably going to see some other movement in that direction, and whether there are other counties and whether there are any court rulings as to the authority of a county commissioner or board of commissioners versus the governor's authority to make certain health and welfare decisions. Because obviously the governor has authority on a statewide level. However, the county commissioners do have some specific authority as far as health, safety, welfare, social services at each county level. So these are somewhat unprecedented and really undefined answers from the Emergency Powers Act that the governor is acting under.
I'd like to add something. Dave, you made me remember that I also wanted to say the courts are closed. Judge Tilwalk, we are not superior to the courts. Constitutionally, they're superior to us. And the judge has closed the courts through the end of the month, which I think the state Supreme Court has also done. So I think we would be going on sketchy ground if we pass that resolution now.
I'm not sure how those are connected, but Bill, my question would be, would we be able to, if I second the motion, which I'd be happy to do so that we could discuss it further, but would we be able to consider a workshop next Wednesday so we don't have to wait 2 more weeks and, flesh this out? Because maybe if other counties are doing it, we could get some verbiage from their resolutions. But I really feel I don't want to be responsible for going against the healthcare folks. That's.
I agree with you, Bob. And I know you're closely associated with the healthcare people. And I would ask if you could maybe reach out and tell them that we're considering this and get some feedback for us. Would you do that?
Certainly, and I'd be happy to if we want to add some verbiage from healthcare providers of Lebanon County to give us, a part of our resolution, if they'd be willing to do that. But I just don't want to. I think we're in areas that we don't have enough knowledge.
Right.
For us to put the public in that position would be tough.
And I no way want anyone to think that I was here today asking us to adopt a resolution today. All I wanted to do, and we can do that, I guess, without a motion, is to, and you're saying, let's get some verbiage, let's take a look at some other resolutions then, and see if it is something that we'd like to do. So
do you
I know there are a lot of folks, a lot of businesses out there genuinely suffering, and I'm going to have to drive to Georgia to get a haircut. So, we need to do something soon.
All right.
That was a joke, guys.
That was hilarious. Thank you.
Commissioner-
Hey, Bill, do you want to withdraw your motion? I guess.
Yeah, I'll withdraw the motion.
Okay. And excuse me, one more thing. If we can have, schedule a workshop for 1:30, a public workshop discussion, and maybe
next
maybe,
Wednesday.
yeah, maybe at that time we could also discuss the appointment by appointment only to certain departments to get things opening up, at least get some talk about that. Maybe we could accomplish both in one meeting if that's possible.
Okay, I will get in touch with Lisa Schaefer at the County Commissioners Association and see if she's aware of other resolution language or other resolutions by counties that have been adopted. So she might know.
Excellent.
In addition, so yeah, we can get
Commissioner
something.
Phillips, I apologize.
Yes.
Just one point of clarification on what Commissioner Litz stated. The state Supreme Court did allow their judicial emergency to, I'll say, effectively expire at the end of April. However, it kind of created a couple different timelines. Without going into all those details, then it gave the authority to the county court judges to further extend that if they saw fit in their county, which President Judge Tilwalk did do through the end of May for Lebanon County. However, the courts are still open and functioning for a limited number of hearings and priorities. You can still file documents with the court, file pleadings with the court, respond to answers that are required. So certainly court hearings have been, I'll say, significantly curtailed and limited. But however, the court system is still functioning, just for clarification there.
For emergencies.
That's correct. Well, or for following the law. Not necessarily just emergencies, but in order to accommodate the law that they're required to follow. Okay. All right. And Bill, are you okay with what we've come up with?
Absolutely. That satisfies me completely. Thank you very much.
Okay. And anything else for the good? Bob Dowd, thank you for quarterbacking again and bringing all the outside folks in for discussion purposes and the questions. We appreciate your support, and plus your department support as always with the 911 Center and DES as well. Jamie, do you want to close this out?
Just to make sure we don't have any other raised hands or any questions from the audience. Nope. I will note that these are better attended than when we have it in person, so it's better.
Yeah. Yeah, at one point we had almost 20.
I'll make a motion to adjourn if there's nothing else.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, folks. Appreciate it. We stand adjourned. Stay well.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.